Coming up, former President Jimmy Carter enters hospice care after weeks of declining health, and the Chinese balloon shot down last week. What we know about the conversations between China and the U.S.
Then, the train derailment in Ohio. The CEO of Norfolk Southern breaks his silence on the toxic chemicals released into the air and water. Plus, a look at your Plattsburgh weather, entertainment, and sports tonight on PS News. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jody Juliana Powell.
And I'm Benny Nazai. Here's our top story tonight. Former President Jimmy Carter is entering hospice care at home. A statement from the Carter Center says the 98-year-old has decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family and receive hospice care instead of additional medical intervention. Carter recently had been in and out of the hospital for short stays. And the statement went on to say that Carter has the full support of his family and his medical team. The Carter family has asked for privacy and is grateful for the concern shown by his many admirers. Carter is the longest living American president in U.S. history. He was elected in 1976 and served one term in office.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken held face-to-face talks this Saturday with his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi, in Munich, Germany. This was the first time the two men have met since the United States shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina earlier this month. Blinken reportedly told Wang the United States will not tolerate any violation of U.S. sovereignty and warned that this must never happen again. Wang has criticized the United States' handling of the incident. The United States has accused China of overseeing an international spying program. Beijing has denied those claims, and it has accused the United States of flying balloons over its airspace without permission.
The CEO of Norfolk Southern is speaking out after a train carrying hazardous material derailed in Ohio earlier this month. He is promising that the company is determined to stay until the community is made whole and that he stands by the decision to burn materials that release toxic chemicals into the air. Corey McCrae reports.
It's been more than 2 weeks since the train derailment in East Palestine and 12 days since the controlled burn that released toxic chemicals including vinyl chloride into the atmosphere. It's a decision Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw stands behind.
I think we did what we needed to do in order to prevent an uncontrolled explosion in the evening.
Shaw, along with company consultants, the Department of Defense, the National Guard, as well as state and local officials, all signed off on the move. Shaw says the company has hired consultants to do air and water quality tests in conjunction with the EPA. According to him, all air and municipal water tests have come back clean, but that those with private wells should keep drinking bottled water.
Private well testing, we need to continue to monitor and test the wells and wait for those test results to come back.
Now keep in mind that rail line that runs through town here in East Palestine was up and running over a week ago. I asked Alan Shaw, did they test that soil before putting new rail line down? He wouldn't give me a direct answer.
We worked with the Ohio EPA to make sure that it was safe to operate in that area.
So none of the soil underneath the rail lines is contaminated?
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is we worked with the Ohio EPA on safe operations and safety for the community.
But Shaw still wouldn't say whether the soil under the replaced rail line is bad. He only promised to do, quote, whatever is required, close quote, and punted back to the Ohio EPA. Shaw added that the contaminated water is being taken out of state and the contaminated soil will be taken to the appropriate landfill.
On Saturday, Shaw met with the local leaders, first responders, and Norfolk Southern employees who live in the area. The Biden administration says that it has deployed federal medical experts to help assess what dangers remain in the area. and the CDC has also confirmed it will send a team to assess public health needs in the area as well. On Saturday, North Korea tested an intercontinental ballistic missile. State news agency KCNA reports the missile hit a preset area in open waters, quote, accurately. North Korea said that the surprise ICBM launching drill flew 614 miles for more than an hour to an altitude of 3,584 miles, according to KCNA.
Tesla is recalling all of its vehicles equipped with what the company calls a, quote, full self-driving. The recall affects nearly 363,000 vehicles, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration issued the recall after noticing the feature can cause the vehicle to violate traffic laws in certain rare circumstances. Tesla will attempt to fix the problem through a software update, but it's unclear whether the company will alter the feature to make it safer or if the update will simply deactivate the feature.
The funerals for 2 of the 3 Michigan State students who died in Monday night's campus shooting were held on Saturday. In Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan, mourners packed into a St. Paul on the Lake Catholic Church to remember Brian Fraser. The pastor spoke of the 20-year-old as someone, quote, charismatic, smiling, and hard to not like. Fraser in high school competed on the swim and dive teams and worked as a lifeguard. At Michigan State, the sophomore served as president of his fraternity. Also on Saturday, the funeral for shooting victim Alexandria Verner was held a few miles away from her hometown in Clawson. The funeral for Ariel Anderson will be held next Tuesday in Detroit.
The U.S. has formally declared that Russia has committed crimes against humanity in its war on Ukraine. Vice President Kamala Harris says there will be more dark days in Ukraine, but pledged the full support of the U.S. for as long as it takes during a recent trip to Germany. It comes as the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is less than a week away. Isabel Rosales of CNN has the latest.
The declaration came during the Munich Security Conference in Germany, where her visit was part of the Biden administration's intense efforts to show commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and unity among Western allies.
We have examined the evidence. We know the legal standards, and there is no doubt these are crimes against humanity.
The vice president's speech cited evidence of indiscriminate attacks that deliberately targeted civilians. It includes the bombings of a maternity hospital that killed a pregnant mother and a theater in Mariupol where hundreds were killed.
Think of the images of Bucha. Civilians shot in cold blood. Their bodies left in the street.
Also in Germany at the conference, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who echoed Vice President Harris's speech in a statement, saying the determination was based on a careful analysis of the law and available facts.
The solidarity with and support for Ukraine remains stronger than ever. And there is a great determination among virtually all of the countries represented here to continue that support for as long as it takes for Ukraine to succeed.
The U.S. accusation against Russia comes as February 24th marks 1 year since Russia launched its war on Ukraine. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
The latest proclamation comes after the U.S. government announced last year that the members of the Russian armed forces committed war crimes in Ukraine. While the latest crimes against humanity determination is significant, it remains largely symbolic for now. It does not immediately trigger any specific consequences, nor does it give the U.S. the ability to prosecute the Russians involved with perpetrating crimes against humanity. The SUNY Plattsburgh Student Association is planning more interactive events for students this semester. Yvonne Diaz has more on what's in store.
Feeling a little cold? Well, don't worry, the SUNY Plattsburgh student government is starting off the first event of the year with a cozy welcome, with more interactive and fun events planned for the students to get involved throughout the semester. On February 10th, at the Angel College Center located in the Hub, the student government held a do-it-yourself blanket event. Students and staff came and decorated their own blankets with no sewing equipment needed. They were provided supplies such as scissors and cloth.
This is one of the blankets that we'll be using. What you're going to do is you're going to open it all up and then cut it in the corners and create fringes. So you can either cut them and leave them loose, you can make really small fringes, you can braid them. It's really just a way to have a blanket at home but make it your own. And there's only 2 of each pattern, so it's really exciting because barely any students are going to have the same as another student.
The student government has worked hard on creating events that would intrigue students and see more involvement on campus. The next activity was Valentine's themed, where students created their own stuffed animal.
I like to make sure that there's at least 4 activities going on every month. That way there's a variety of things for the students to do. And I feel like ensuring that everyone here on campus is happy and is having a good time to wind down. I try to make sure that there are things athletic-wise or more educational-based or really just relaxing so that all students can relate to it one way or another.
The first event of the semester was a success, but seeing all these blankets is making me a little tired. I think I'm going to go take one and get some sleep. My name is Yvonne Diaz reporting for CMM 459 News.
Great reporting, Yvonne. Well, after the break, a look at your Plattsburgh weather and entertainment news. Stay with us, folks.
Here, that's Unsworth on the breakaway here, trying to score and scores!
And is seeking their 8th national championship.
I'm here with the Cardinals starting center and one of the stars of the game today.
Yeah, not a good look.
The judges and I have been deliberating.
30s, high of 36. PS News' Jeff Koff looks at one challenge facing renters.
Have you ever had a main character moment? I mean, when you first step in front of the camera. I mean, when you ace that exam. When you publish your first novel.
When you take that shot.
When the moment is yours.
Welcome back. I'm your meteorologist, Marcel Gibbs, and here's a look at your Plattsburgh weather. Now we're seeing a lot of 30s and 20s, which is very odd because it was just 45 today. We're seeing 25 for Owl's Head, 28 for Vermontville, 29 for Dannemora, 31 for All Stable Forks, 33 for Plattsburgh. At least we are in the 30s and not the 20s. Good luck for us. St. Albans City with 33 and Wilson with 34. Now let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. Now, it's odd because we got sun today, and yet tomorrow it seems that there's snow coming. We're seeing 38 for Tuesday with a snow shower apparently, and then right after on Wednesday the sun's coming back with a temperature of 31, snow again. We're seeing on and off this entire week of sunny and snow. It does not make sense. 14 for Friday, and we are tumbling down back to the colder temperatures that Plattsburgh is known for. 19 for Saturday, and Friday and Saturday just going off with cold and cloudy weather. That's all for weather. Now back to the desk.
Definitely be on the lookout for Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you, Marcel. Well, you might be soon paying more for money for a used car. Wholesale prices for used cars being sold at an auction have risen sharply in the last few weeks. According to Mayhem, prices jumped 4% in just the last 2 weeks. That's an unusually large increase in such a short time period. And the jump also caught the industry insiders by surprise. A shortage of new car inventory helped drive both new and used car prices to record levels earlier last year. The busy selling season for used cars is only months away, and it's tied to when potential buyers get their tax refunds. Now dealers are scrambling to rebuild inventories, which is resulting in higher prices for used cars. Now switching gears to local news, as a local dance academy is leaping into World Championship competition. PS News' Joe Mason has more.
Irish dancing is a tradition we all know of, but don't know enough about. Morse Academy of Irish Dance on South Caroline Street opened up in January of 2019. Since, the Academy has provided classes to those 4 and up wishing to pursue Irish dance at any level. This ranges from high-level competition to community events and more.
We've had some competitive success. There's 2 sides of Irish dancing. There's the show side and the for fun side. So we've had dancers move up multiple levels, compete at the regional, national level, and we actually have 2 that qualified to compete at the world level.
Founder and owner Sam Morse has been dancing since she was 6 and hopes to give local dancers opportunities that weren't afforded to her.
When I was Irish dancing and I was competing, I had to go to Montreal for everything. Private lessons, classes. So for this to be so localized and to give local dancers the opportunity to have a really successful competitive career and be involved in community events, it's so special to me.
For those unfamiliar, there are rules and guidelines you need to follow.
You can't move your arms. Your upper body has to stay completely still while your lower body is doing loads of work. And you have to have a certain amount of athleticism, but also gracefulness to your dancing.
Here at the Academy, we're jigging our way into the World Championships. In Plattsburgh, Joe Mason, CMM 459 News.
Great reporting. Now let's take a look at what's going on in entertainment with your PS Entertainment Update. Here's Cole Kachajian.
Thank you very much, Benny. Now, actor and comedian Richard Belzer has died. A longtime friend told The Hollywood Reporter Belzer died at his home in southwest France. The 78-year-old reportedly was dealing with a lot of health issues. Belzer began as a stand-up comedian in the 1970s before venturing into roles in film and on television. His film debut was in 1974 in the comedy Groove Tube, but he may be best remembered as the cynical but reliable detective John Munch on the TV show Homicide, Life on the Street, and then later on Law & Order Special Victims Unit. He played the role of John Munch for about 20 years. The family of actor Bruce Willis has announced he is suffering from dementia. The actor has a condition called frontotemporal dementia. FTD is not a specific diagnosis, it is an umbrella term for a group of brain disorders. Willis's family first said last year he was diagnosed with aphasia, a medical condition that impacted his cognitive abilities. They also said he would be taking a break from acting. The film Assassin, starring Willis, is slated for release next month. It is not known if he will be able to return to acting. For the 31st straight time, a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie has debuted #1 at the box office. David Daniel has early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters from Friday through Sunday.
I don't know what's going on here. Knock at the Cabin stayed in 5th place, scaring up $3.9 million. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is at $168 million domestic, after a 4th place weekend worth $5.3 million. Magic Mike's Last Dance fell from 1st to 3rd on ticket sales of $5.5 million. Avatar: The Way of Water made $6.1 million for 2nd place and a domestic total of $658 million, passing Jurassic World for 9th place on the all-time list. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania opened big, $104 million, the best Ant-Man launch ever and the first $100 million debut this year. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Actor Tom Sizemore is in critical condition after suffering a brain aneurysm. Sunday, a spokesperson said Sizemore is now in intensive care. The spokesperson also said his family is aware and waiting for updates. No other information has been given. The 61-year-old Sizemore is known for his roles in Saving Private Ryan and Black Hawk Down. The actor was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for his work in witness protection. He has also long struggled with drug addiction and has a litany of legal issues during his career. That's all for entertainment news tonight. I'm Cole Kajagian. Just ahead, a look at the wide world of sports with Patrick Pfeiffer. Stay with us.
Club International has been of great help to me as an international student because it has allowed me to be introduced to new people from different cultures. Representation matters and we know how to show it right because at every festival, we make sure not only to include representation of one, but that of many different countries. And that is why I am proud to be a part of Club International.
Club International!
Welcome back with your PS Sports Update. I'm Patrick Pfeiffer. The women's basketball season comes to an end. We're starting out with the Cardinal country here. The Plattsburgh State women's basketball team fell on Friday night to the visiting New Paltz Hawks, falling 90-57 in SUNYAC play. Despite 4 Cardinal players in double figures for scoring, a season-high 31 turnovers doomed Plattsburgh as it led to 32 New Paltz points. Imani Walcott posted her second double-double in her last 3 games as the first-year forward scored 10 points and grabbed 11 boards. Izzy Wilbur posted a team-high 12 points, while Peyton Couture added 11. Plattsburgh fell to 8-16, 4-13 in the SUNYAC, and would play their final game of the season the following afternoon on their senior day, as they took on the Red Dragons of Oneonta. Plattsburgh celebrated 3 seniors on Saturday, those 3 being Misa Dawell, Kara Oatman, and Maya Smith. The Cards would ultimately fall to Oneonta, 61-51, after a hard-fought 40 minutes of play. The team finishes and wraps up their season with an 8-17 record, 4-14 in the SUNYAC, and Oneonta finishes their season at 18-7 and will host Potsdam next week in the conference playoffs. Moving to men's basketball, despite a career-high 27 points from sophomore guard Franklin Infante on Friday night, the Plattsburgh State men's basketball team fell to New Paltz 86-81 in SUNYAC play. With the loss and a win from Geneseo, the team was officially eliminated from contention in the conference playoffs. Infante poured in his career-high 27 in a variety of ways, but mainly was a career-high 5 triples, with some big shots late that kept the Cards in the game down the stretch. Kevin Tabb added 17 points and 5 rebounds, with Eric Salo dropping 15 points and matching a career-high with 16 rebounds. Plattsburgh would fall to 10-14 on the year with the loss. On Saturday afternoon, the Cardinals wrapped up their 2023 season with a loss to Oneonta, 86-76, in continued SUNYAC action. 3 seniors, Sheriff Contil, Miles Jones, and Eric Salo, were honored before the start of the game as part of Senior Day and to commemorate all their accomplishments at Plattsburgh. The Cardinals wrap up their season, finishing with a record of 10-15, 6-12 in the SUNYAC, seeing an 8-win improvement from last season. Oneonta moves to 17-8 on the year with the win and will host New Paltz on February 21st in a SUNYAC playoff first-round matchup. Now to the ice in Buffalo. The number 3 Plattsburgh State women's ice hockey team cruised to a 5-0 Newell win over Buffalo State on Friday afternoon, extended their winning streak to 14 games. The Cardinals finished with a 52-18 edge in shots on goal and went 1 for 6 on the power play, but the Bengals were 0 for 4 with the extra skater. The Cardinals would extend their win streak to 15 games the following evening as they took on the Bengals once again, defeating them 8-0 in their regular season finale. Senior forward Julia Masada scored twice, while graduate student forward Sarah Krosneck notched 3 points on a goal and 2 apples. Krosneck has now recorded a point in 8 consecutive games. Senior defenseman Ciara Benjamin and senior forward Ivy Borg each registered 3 assists. Plattsburgh State rises to 23-2-0 overall and 17-1-0 in the Newell, with the win and next hosts 4th-seeded SUNY Canton in the Newell Tournament semifinals on Saturday, February 25th at 3 p.m. The Plattsburgh State men's ice hockey team will also host a playoff game next Saturday, finishing their season with a record of 18-5-2, receiving a number 2 ranking in the conference. While their opponent is still unknown, they will be following the women's game right after at 7 p.m. Both these games will be streamed on PSTV, so if you can't make it to the Ronald B. Stafford Ice Arena, make sure to tune into our live stream. Now, to the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals playing an outdoor match at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. 0-0 in the first period. It's Teuvo Teravainen. Shoots, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi deflects it in and scores, puts the Hurricanes up 1-0. On to the second period now. Jalen Chatfield's shot from the point ricochets off Capitals goalie Darcy Kemper, and it's Paul Stastny there in front to pick up the rebound and put the Hurricanes up 2-0. A little bit later in the second period, here's the replay. Paul Stastny all over the rebound, right past Darcy Kemper. Couldn't get to it in time. 2-0 Hurricanes early in this one. A little bit later in the second now. Pass down the ice. Canes up 3-0. 2-on-1. The pass across Martin Nikšić back to Teravainen for the easy goal. Hurricanes dominating this one 4-0. They got some nice jerseys. The fans are excited. Stadium Series games always fun. The Hurricanes take this one 4-1. The Islanders and Bruins now from TD Garden. The Islanders are struggling as of late, and the red-hot Bruins winning 3 of their last 4. At home, behind the net, it's Trent Frederick looking for a shot in front. From the point, it goes in, beats Sorokin, and the Bruins go up 3-0 in the first period. Later in the second, still 3-0 Bruins. The Islanders come down the ice looking to get their first of the game, and it's Kyle Palmieri on the doorstep, tips it home, cuts the Bruins lead down 3-1. Second period, Bruins in deep, shot in the middle, another shot, deflects off the boards back in front. Patrice Bergeron was waiting around. He tips it in. Nothing can go right for the Islanders. 4-1 Bruins. Second period again, Trent Frederick has it. He has 1 goal in the game, and here's his second one. Shot from the slot, beats Varlamov that time. 5-1 Bruins. They go on to win this one 6-2, and they're the hottest team in the league right now for sure. The Rangers and Oilers face off in a big East versus West matchup. In the first period, it's Tyson Barrie. In the slot, the Oilers got possession. Rangers can't get it out of the zone. Put it in front, saved by Shesterkin there, but no one picks up Tyson Barrie in the slot, follows up the rebound. Edmonton 2-0 in the first period. Later in the first, just a couple seconds later, it's Derek Ryan gets the look on the right side, beats Shesterkin upstairs with the shot. What a snipe. 3-0 Oilers early in this one. But the Rangers won't go away. On the power play a minute later, they have it. Zibanejad shot went wide. Back to Panarin. Panarin, cross-ice feed. Zibanejad finds Kreider on the doorstep. They are so good at that. Rangers get their first of the game, 3-1. Ranger fans excited in the Oilers' hometown. The Oilers come back in the zone, though, late in the first as well. They have 3 goals already. Looks like they're going to try to get their 4th here. Draisaitl's got it. Beats Shesterkin far side. They got a power play goal of their own. 4-1 Oilers, dominating this one. But second period, Rangers looking to stay in this one. It's Chris Kreider shorthanded. Deflection, he gets it back on the backhand, puts it past. A little bit of luck there, but the Rangers hanging around in this one. A little bit later now, third period. Kreider's hyped up. But the third period now, Lafreniere gets the puck from behind the net. The pass from Capo Kakko right on the doorstep. Lafreniere, nice shot. Rangers only down 1 now after being down 4-1. These teams have had some good matchups this year. Rangers looking to come back in this one. Late in the third period, 7 minutes remaining. Rangers another power play, 5-on-3 this time. It's down low to Trocheck. Back up to Zibanejad. You can't leave him that open. He's got a lethal shot. Beats the goalie. And Rangers tie it up late in the third period. To the shootout. No goals in overtime. So it's on the stick of Alexis Lafreniere. Backhand, 5-hole, slips it past Campbell. The Rangers complete the comeback 5-4 after being down 4-1 for most of the game. With your PS Sports Update, I'm Patrick Pfeiffer. Now back to the desk with Benny and Jody Juliana.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Well, Jody, I thought tonight's newscast went really, really well. I mean, obviously we did this last semester. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really excited that we're doing this again this semester.
I'm very excited, and I get to be with my favorite co-anchor.
Oh, I would definitely say the same about you, Jody. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
To stay up to date with us, follow at Plattsburgh State TV on all social media platforms.
From all of us here, I'm Benny Nazai.
And I'm Jody Juliana Powell. As always, thank you for joining us and have a great night, Plattsburgh.